Hi, my name is Andy Talavero. This is my vision board for CSCR 100. And this is my mission statement in pictures for the next 10 to 15 years. So one of my first goals would be to transfer to SDSU in the fall of 2022, and while there, end up getting an internship at the Big Four, which the Big Four are the four biggest accounting firms in the world. Those being Deloitte, PwC, EY, and KPMG. Although the work climate isn't the best and the hours aren't the best in regards to how much they actually make you work for how much you're being compensated, for what you earn and get out of it, it's definitely worth it, such as experience. So by at the very latest summer of 2024, I'd like to have completed my bachelor's degree in accounting at SDSU. After getting my accounting degree, I would like to get into a master's program to get a master's in accounting from either SDSU again or from a school close by. Part of the reason why I'd like to get a master's in accounting would be, one, to fulfill the educational requirements of becoming a CPA in California, and two, which I think is more important, would be for networking, as I believe meeting people who are going into the same industry is very helpful in the future if you're looking for maybe job references, or you want to have to pass that idea along to someone else who have more influence within that company. After networking and completing my master's degree, I would then have to take, my next goal would be by the time I'm 26, would be actually finishing all the steps taken to become a CPA in California. Aside from the education requirements, to become a CPA in California, you also have to take 4 tests. And those 4 tests, they give you approximately 2 years to complete them. And this is an example of how the CPA license would look like in California. So as you can see, so far I've been going from my right, left, here to here. But that pattern stops at family. But we'll say family for the very end for one reason. So my next goal, aside from family, would be to get a credit score above 700 by the time I'm 28 at the very latest, and I mean very, very latest. And part of the reason, one reason why I say 28 and not earlier would be part of what makes your credit score is how long you've had credit history. So these are not things you can necessarily skip or cheat to get ahead. You just have to wait for time to pass by. And to have a credit score of 700 and above by 28, I don't think it's too unrealistic. And I think it's a moderate, reasonable goal. And I'd like to have a credit score above 700 or more to get loans with lower interest rates, specifically on car loans and home loans. And speaking about cars, my dream car is currently a 2020 Toyota Camry, and specifically one in blue, or as they call it, Galactic Aqua Mica. And the reason I say a 2020 Toyota Camry is my dream car currently, it's because, one, I currently live in an apartment, so having an electric car isn't my best option, just because I wouldn't have a place to charge it. And two, Toyota Camrys are very reliable and gas efficient. And one of my goals is to have a job in San Diego County or around LA County, but also live in a home in the Inland Empire, just because homes in the Inland Empire are cheaper than homes in San Diego County or LA County or Orange County. And now that we're talking about homes, my next important goal would be a homeowner by the time I'm 28. So this is an example of a type of house I'd like to have by the time I'm 28 or around 28 if I were to have a family. And along with having a family house like this, if I were to have a family, it would have at least two, either to begin with, one samoyed, and eventually work myself up to get 2 samoyeds. Here are two 2 Samoyed puppies, just for reference. And I want to get Samoyeds for a couple reasons. One, they're incredibly friendly, so the risk of the dog attacking people and creating legal issues isn't there. And two, they look like tiny polar bears if you don't give them a haircut, which I think is pretty cool. Oh, and a third reason would be the way their jaw is formed. Drool doesn't drool like with other breeds of dogs. And so now we finished talking about the majority of the goals for the next 10 to 15 years. Here's the one goal that doesn't have a specific time frame, and that has to be family. And you'll notice I put a question mark after family for one specific reason. Personally, I don't believe you should be forced to have a family within a specific time period. And also, what family means is very subjective nowadays, as for some people, family can mean your closest friends. Other people, it means your current immediate family, so like your brother, parents, which I also believe that's my family. And for others, when they bring up family in the future, they're referring as them starting their own family, so them becoming a parent or adopting a child, and so on. I think that should be left up. It should happen naturally. It shouldn't happen. You shouldn't have to force yourself to be married or have kids within 5 years or 10 years and so on. It should just be completely natural and just go with the flow. I don't think it should be forced upon anyone or by yourself. And if you notice, a lot of my goals are very realistic, because I don't want to, I guess, disappoint myself by putting like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or this massive mansion, just because I know that statistically won't happen in my lifetime. It won't happen for most people. So this is why I would say very reasonable goals to accomplish before I turn 30. And so, aside from my personal goals, there are a couple things I do to renew myself, just to make sure I'm actually able to complete these goals. So currently, one thing I do to keep myself physically active or physically renew myself is I like to at least 3 to 5 times a week use 15-pound dumbbells. After my dumbbells, I tend to do some at-home cardio, just because, one, the gym isn't the safest place right now due to the pandemic, and two, I have a compromised immune system, so it's not safe. It's even less safe for me than for other people. And so I always first begin with weights, followed by cardio. After cardio, another thing I do to renew myself mentally would be play Uno with friends. Although Uno isn't the most mentally challenging game, I personally find it to be very fun, especially when you play with your family and friends. And I see it as a way it's kind of a way for me to relax. Just because other than like video games, which is more socially, it still requires like some type of you still have to use your brain somewhat to be able to win the game. And I happen to be very competitive in Uno. And so another way I renew myself is religiously. So I guess the best way to do it is every night I pray before going to sleep. So here's a cross I have that I removed off the wall just for this presentation. So for me, it's now become more of a habit. It's such a big habit for me to pray before going to sleep that if I don't pray before going to sleep, I just simply won't be able to go to sleep. I'll lay there awake for hours on end and just staring at the wall, not doing anything until I just decide to start praying, just do my quick prayer, and after doing my quick prayer, I can actually go to sleep. I guess it's a way to tell my body and myself, my day is over, time to get some rest and get ready for the following day and begin doing everything again. And one way I renew myself socially, which is a very odd way, and I don't think many people do it this way, is I have to go to the oncology clinic every so often, once a month. So before, I used to not like going there because I had to talk to people. I wasn't as social. But I eventually realized going to these monthly doctor's visits is a great way for me to, I guess, open up, talk to the nurses and doctors and hospital staff. Not really patients, just because the patients are much younger than I am. That's because I go to a children's hospital. And so it's a great way for me to improve my social skills. And even though it's not necessarily relaxing socially, I still think it's going to benefit me in the long run, especially in the future. As with accounting, you still have to talk to people. It's great to have these social skills just in general. So those are just a couple of things I do to renew myself socially, mentally, religiously, and physically. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and thank you.